In this video, you're gonna get an in-depth look at the portable worship tech solution they're using at Redemption Church in Wesley Chapel, Florida. A few weeks ago in the Churchfront Facebook group, Will Hamilton, the worship leader at Redemption Church, had posted a really short video that highlighted some of the really innovative solutions they're using at their church. And as soon as I saw that video, I wanted to see more. So I reached out to Will and I said, hey Will, would you be interested in filming a tech tour of the setup you guys use every single Sunday? Will agreed to do it, and he did a fantastic job filming what their entire process looks like and the innovative solutions they're using for electric drums in worship, their keyboard setup, some budget-friendly wireless microphone systems, and maybe some not so budget-friendly solutions, but still interesting to sort of geek out over. They're using a Allen & Heath D-Live for their mixing solution at a small portable church. Regardless of your church size and budget, I think you're gonna learn a ton from this walkthrough, so I wanna go ahead and hand it over to Will to take us on the tour.
So welcome to the Redemption Tech Tour. Super excited to show everything to you here. I am the worship leader here. This is just a church plant that's really only existed for 4 weeks now. So there's a lot here that we have to compromise on or go past. We have to set up every single week at 6 a.m. in this elementary school. So there's a lot of stuff that we're doing. And really, I'm even just the volunteer worship leader. I moved from Kansas to Tampa to join and be a part of this as a volunteer. What I do full time, I still work with churches, but I founded a social media company for churches called churchposting.com that automates churches' social media every single week. And that's what I do full time. But as a volunteer, I just come in and I get to build the tech, direct the tech, and I actually am on stage every single week. So I'm super excited to walk you through everything and how we kind of do all this. Good morning. It's 6:27 and I am driving to the elementary school that we meet at for church on Sunday mornings. I would get there earlier, but I'm not allowed to. So I figured because we are just absolutely so swamped every Sunday morning. Oh, there goes my camera. We're so swamped every Sunday morning because we just have so many things to do with such a small volunteer base. I should record a little intro for you guys while I was in the car. So we have a very small volunteer base. Really, it's just right now the launch team still. And so there are compromises we have to make as we put everything together, but we've gotten to this place that I think is really good. I think it sounds good. I think it looks good. I'm super excited to show you all the tech. Okay, now it's time to set up the school. This is our baby. This is the heart of everything that we do. It's got our wireless system, it's got our mixer, it's got our router, it's got all of our in-ears, right? Like this is the baby. And so it's in this really awesome Pro X case that Caleb got for us. And he assembled all of this too. So I'm excited to show you kind of some of the things we've done inside of it that make it instantly for volunteers. Now there's two sides to it. Both sides get removed on a Sunday morning, but really we need access mainly to one side after the initial set. Because we're mobile, we have to do things like build in this case and then set up and tear down every day. One of the best things the install guy did for us was build us these. This is audio over Ethernet. We have 2 male and 2 female, so they go for power or they go for in-ears and they go for 2 different audio inputs. Now we're able to plug in to the back of the box into A, B, C, or D, and those correspond with things that just say plugged into the D-Live stage box permanently. So all we have to do is connect the Ethernet cable, bring this box wherever we want it to go, and then we have audio. It's super handy and makes things way faster for us. So we have the power switch right here. So every morning you're gonna press this power switch, turn it on, and it powers up everything. Also, most of the cables that are like the audio over Ethernet that we just looked at, those are all going to stay plugged in perpetually. You can see they're all run right here. They're also all labeled really well, so just don't unplug them. We have here our Shure SLXDs, one for the pastor and one for me on the guitar. We also have the Phoenix Pro PTU 2Us. These are cheap wireless microphones that they're American made and they're metal, and honestly they work pretty good. I'll show you those in a second. And then we have our Phoenix wireless in-ears. These are just mono for the backup singers. I actually use the Shure PSM 300 because I'm picky and I gave myself the nicer in-ears. And so those are stereo in-ears. Most of you will be familiar. And then we have two shelves. This is where we house the in-ears and the wireless pack. Here we have a chest of all our cables. Well, not all of them, but the vast majority of them just live in this chest. We wrap them up well. They're all labeled, so it makes it easy for people to know, what goes into what track 14. Right, so it's very clear for any volunteer, 27, to know where and what these cables do. Now, some of them are labeled wrong, and that's unfortunate, but most of them are good, and it makes it easy on us. So this is our keys rig. We're running main stage off of the MacBook Air over here. We're running our tracks here, and this is a complete Audio 6 device that has 3 different, you could do up to 4 outputs on it, but we have the stereo tracks going out, and then we have the click track that has the click and guide on it, and then this is connected to the iPad. They're running off here. We pretty much, right for now, we just have one patch going on the keys all the time, and then we have the tracks that run off here that we can customize, go on the fly. Today we're doing Live in Hope, Yet Not I, King of Kings, and How Great Is Our God. That's pretty loud. Wow, that's super loud. Is that how loud it is live for the tracks? That's crazy. Anyways, so we have the tracks running here, and there's a pad on the tracks, and then we can actually use the multi-tracks to control our slides over the internet with a MIDI connection. We connect to the MacBook that's running ProPresenter back there, and we can trigger our slides. Now also, see the pianist has a phone over here on the playback, on the chart builder app. You're able to connect in and synchronize with the tracks so that you never have to scroll. It just synchronizes with everything. It's phenomenal. For my in-ears, like I said earlier, I use the Shure PSM 300 with these Ultimate ears. When I got these specific Ultimate ears, they were like super nice. They're like the nice ones ever. Then they like a month later released a nicer model, but they're still great. I have the removable heads, so I actually have different colors on each ear, so I don't have to kind of look and examine and try to figure it out. But they're custom, they're awesome, they're great, totally recommend. Don't recommend spending as much as I did on them, which I think was close to like $3,000, but still cool. And then on my acoustic guitar that I'm playing today, sometimes I can play electric, sometimes I run it through the pedal board, but I always use this Shure wireless SLXD system. Now this is often used like on the mics or on like for the pastor's mic, but you can use it for the guitar as well, which just makes it so it's clean, it's digital, it's great. And so this is just a Shure SLXD with a little mic cable, and I plug in on my guitar. It's a really great guitar. It's a super cheap Ibanez Dreadnought like body with a cutaway, dark wood. I've done some custom stuff to it. I've also put in an LR Baggs Anthem, which makes the pickup an acoustic or pickup like a real genuine condenser microphone, which really helps with the sound overall. Okay, so talking a little stage design now, we weren't really able to do a whole lot. Time-wise, budget-wise, there's a lot I want to do more, especially with the lighting. We found these cheap lights. I think they're like $50 a piece, but not much. On Amazon, they really are crap, but they kind of look cool. And you've seen in some shots that I've added in here that they give a good ambiance. They're fine. They kind of act as a backlight, not really, but they're more or less good. I sing on this microphone right here. This is a Neumann KMS 105. If I had my way, all of our wireless would use these capsules because I think they're phenomenal. They don't natively work with like the SLXD systems, which I'm a big SLXD guy, but you can adapt the capsules to it. Right now though, on our backup singers, we didn't have the budget for SLXD, so we're using what's a Phoenix system, which I think down in the mic says are right over here. Yeah, so this is a Phoenix Pro microphone. It's a system of 2, and really, they're genuinely pretty good. They're not bad. They are digital wireless. They're really solid. They're really heavy, and the battery life is fine on them. We've actually struggled a little bit with one of them. This one, we've found the perfect signal here, but we just a lot of times haven't had the time every morning to find the right channel. And so the other microphone that we have, the other wireless microphone, is struggling to find the right frequency to sit on. And again, these aren't awesome, but they are American made. I believe it's in California. So that's nice. It's not some cheap Chinese brand that we're buying. And also this wireless in-ears for the singers, those are from Phoenix as well. I got myself Shure because I'm here every single week and I felt like that was worth the investment. But Phoenix Pro is a good, cheap brand as far as I've had my experience at my last church when I was in Topeka. We did a lot of Phoenix microphones, Phoenix in-ears. We had the Phoenix stereo in-ears, which are like $200. And so you get a lot of interference on the Phoenix in-ears, but the fact that they can be stereo for that price is pretty impressive. So this is our front of house. This is where we mix everything on the D-Live. We actually don't have a Surface. One of the reasons that we were able to get the D-Live console for so cheap is because we just got the Brain, and the Brain resides in the stage box. So we have the stage box going, and this is where we are mixing. So we have the D-Live Director app open, and because we have really pretty small band, we just need this one bank of like 12 channels. And so this is where we have everything mixed on. The Director app is not super intuitive, but we were able to figure it out. The other side of things is it's super hard to mix your in-ears on the D-Live Director app, so that's what we're using Mixing Station for. We're actually able to go on a Mixing Station and select whatever the in-ear is right over here. So I can select my lead IEM and then I can just mix it right there. Eventually I want to use it for everything, Mixing Station, but right now we just haven't had time to customize it. So that's our front of house. And here's the hybrid drum kit. This shell is just like a $800 one from D-Drum. It looks nice. I like the way it looks. These mesh heads, after a lot of research, I decided on the RTEM mesh heads. They're just single ply. We've gotten a lot of good feedback already. Obviously, you can see I've been using Moon Gel because I haven't had time to dial in the triggers enough to where the snare works without the Moon Gel. Now the other triggers, they're fine. And of course, then we have the field cymbals. Which have multiple, you can see, each one has multiple triggers on it. Like on this one, you have the bell, very clearly the bell. And there's also a palm mute that you can do, which is sweet. And then we've kind of figured out a way to route these cables in a way that is inconspicuous so that it's kind of inconspicuous so that people don't see that it's an electronic drum set. And so when you're out in the crowd, this looks like a really cool real drum set. These are just non-stick drumsticks. I think we're gonna actually upgrade to the field drumsticks that have rubber on the edge, which just makes them a little bit quieter. But you can hear, this is how each of them sound. I don't know how well this is gonna translate on video, but they're really quiet, but they still have tone to them. So when you hit the tom, you don't feel like totally naked. It's got that nice low timbre to it still. The problem with the electronic cymbals is they don't bend and react the way. Now they're metal, which means like I like them better, that look better, but they don't bend, and they're just so heavy. Oh. So we unfortunately were not able to get the drums set up this week. We weren't able to find a drummer, and so we didn't get it fully set up. But I did set them out because I think it looks nice and they're cool. And so obviously earlier we walked through the red shot triggers. I have all the details about this in the description, but this is the Brain, right? So you have to have something that controls it. And so we use Easy Drummer. So this computer powers on, there's Easy Drummer in it. Down here you can see this is the DDTI interface. So we plug in each of the inputs from the drums, from the cymbals, the hi-hat, the kick, all that goes into this DDTI, and we run Easy Drummer 3 on this computer. And then the coolest part of this whole setup is that we have 8 outputs for every single drum as individual. I'm using the new Allen Heath CQ series. This is a CQ20B. It's rack mounted. I got a really good deal on it. I got this like for $750 or something crazy like that. And so it's really flexible, and I plan on using it for more than the drums in the future, like during the week and things, since it is so portable. But for now, this is just our drum rig, and we just have the 8 outputs right here that go in. This is a great mixer, and it kind of just acts as a great audio interface for the drums. Now, we do plan and kind of hope to upgrade our drum set to the easier to set up wireless DWE series. It's just a little out of budget range right now. We plan to do that because I think the wireless just makes setup so much easier. And that setting this up every single week takes a lot of effort. So we actually gave the school these TVs. We upgraded them because we wanted bigger ones, and they had TVs that they use daily. And so we're like, why don't we just upgrade your TVs and you guys keep using them, and then we can just keep them here. So that's another thing that we get to store here, which is super helpful, is to these TVs. And then we connect everything via SDI, which I'll show you in a bit. All right, so here's our tech booth. First, we have a computer rig over here. This powers everything with this one switch, which is great. Here's our DMX as well. So the DMX in, control. We have everything taped up so that it's very clear for our volunteers what they're doing, which is fantastic. And then, of course, we have, this is our Mac Mini. You can't see it. There's just a little on switch. This is just a Sonnet rack mount Mini, and you can actually put two. We only have one right now. Eventually, we will have to upgrade to two. But you can put the Mac Mini in here, and then there's just an on switch that powers on the Mac Mini, and it works great. So you can see that's running ProPresenter. It's also running Light Key for our lights. ProPresenter, of course, standard. Everybody loves it. It's awesome. It works for us too. We actually only have one TV today because our other TV broke, which is just wonderful. Normally we have two, and I've uploaded some images so you can see what that looks like. Light Key is also very basic. Here's the thing. We have to make compromises because we don't have the time or the volunteer capacity to do things. So literally all Light Key is turning the lights on right now, which is fine, which also means Light Key is free, which saves us, not insignificant amount of money. On ProPresenter, of course, we have the paid version. We use it. I will automate the slides because we're using multitracks.com, and you can automate them. We're not automating them today because we're just not using tracks actually today. But normally we will automate the slides with MIDI, which is fantastic. And I'll show you the iPad in just a second. Here's our console. So I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but we mix on a D-Live, which for a church plan is really crazy. The reason we're able to do that is, number one, we got an incredible deal. But number two, the brain of D-Live consoles is actually in the stage box. It's not in the surface. And so we mix on a touchscreen right now, which isn't the best situation. But D-Live, the benefits that you get and the sound quality and just the flexibility going forward as we grow and as we become a bigger church is just incredible. And so we have our setup here. It's very simple, and we're not even making really full use of the D-Live. Like I said, it's really just like future-proofing us. I'm planning on getting one of those Waves Fit controllers to mix on, and then of course I'm going to plan on eventually customizing Mixing Station to give us kind of the perfect mixing board combination right now. We kind of have this hybrid setup where we're using D-Live just to mix our mains and everything. You can see violin, computers, drums are there, drums, snare, tom, cymbal, keys, tracks, and I love that stereo is just one fader, which is great. If we are editing something specific, we just tap this and you have access to the full mix rack, the surface, utility, inputs and outputs, processing. So you'd go end up and so there's lots that you can do with it, and it's really easy. We still prefer Mixing Station, and so eventually the plan will be Mixing Station. I just haven't had time. I mean, again, we have like several hours on Sunday morning, and that's it to customize this. But what we do use Mixing Station for is just an easier way to mix our in-ear monitors. So you can see on the side here, we have vocal ears that I can then just tap in and easily mix. And everybody's phone has Mixing Station as well, and so they just open that up on their phone and go lead IM and they mix. These are our lights. What's awesome about this place is that it's in a school cafeteria, but it does have a stage with lights, and so we actually don't need our own lights. The problem is we don't have any change in lights. Our lights stay 100% on all the time. Those lights we could eventually program, but these lights there'd be no way to program. There's no DMX control of them, but it is just great for us to have this flexibility of these lights. They honestly look fine. They're very warm, even warmer than the lights that we have, which are pretty warm. But these are just ADJ lights, I think. I'll find out exactly the model. Encore, I'll find out the exact model for sure and put them on there. We'll just put them up real high, shoot them on. It's just a big old wash. And again, we have those cheap Amazon lights that are the hair light, really. We want to do more eventually, but the space is limiting, our time is limiting, our budget's limiting.
Thanks so much to Will for taking us on this tech tour of their portable church setup. It really made me nostalgic of the early days here on the Churchfront channel when I was worship leader at Mission Lakewood Church. Do you guys remember those videos? We were set up in tear down church in a high school auditorium for about 3 years. It was exhausting. I'm a little too old for that now, but it's a great way to learn a ton, especially when it comes to your worship and tech solutions. And what do you guys think about this format of actually having you, the members of the Churchfront community, contribute to the content here on the YouTube channel? Our team can only produce so much content, especially because we've been busy serving our clients at the Churchfront Accelerator program and deploying these systems. And of course, we can document those systems in what we're doing on a regular basis, but I would still like to explore this idea of crowdsourcing content from the Churchfront community. So I'm gonna put a link to a form below this video where if you are interested in showing off the setup that your church is using, then let me know. Let's talk about it. As always, make sure you check out churchfront.com for a ton of free resources for your worship ministry, and don't hesitate to reach out to us if you would like online courses, consulting, or integration services to overhaul or install new audio, visual, and lighting gear at your church. So go to churchfront.com to learn more, and we'll see you next time.